Welcome back to the War Corgi YouTube channel, and today we're going to continue our ongoing series on how to play Star Wars Legion. Now today we're all going to be commanders. We got our commander cap on as we learn all about the command phase, playing command cards, and issuing orders throughout the game. Before starting the game, each player will make a command deck with 7 command cards. Now every faction has these 4 generic command cards available to them, while the Rebel and Imperial factions have additional generic command cards available to them. You can tell these are generic command cards because there are no portraits of any characters in the upper right hand corner, meaning that any commander can issue these command cards. For this example, we're going to look at a Rebel list that has Han Solo and Chewbacca in it. Now command card decks are limited to 2 1-pips, 2 2-pips, 2 3-pips, and 1 4-pip card, but Han Solo is one of the exceptions to the rules here with his Sorry About the Mess card. It technically is a 0-pip card, but when building the command hand, you treat the card as having 1 pip. So with the choices available to us, we're going to pick Sorry About the Mess and Ambush as our 1-pips, Reckless Diversion and Push as our 2-pips, and for our 3-pip, we have a choice here. We can go with the generic Assault, Han Solo's Change of Plans, or Chewbacca's Notorious Scoundrels. We're going to go with Han and Chewie's cards, choosing to set Assault to the side, and now we have our command deck of 7 cards ready to play. Before each turn, players will select command cards from their hands and reveal them at the same time. In this case, the Rebel player has chosen Push, and the Imperial player has chosen Whipcord Launcher, Boba Fett's 1-pip card. At this point, you can pair the pips on the cards with the lower pip having priority. On the case where cards are played with the same pip level, such as Ambush and Whipcord, it will depend on what round you're at, but players will roll off to determine who has priority. And it is a 50-50 shot, so on turns 1, 3, and 5, the blue player rolls a red dice. Turns 2, 4, and 6, the red player rolls a red dice. And on a shield result, that player rolling the dice will have priority. Currently, 2 characters in the game have exception to the pip rule. And that exception is called Cunning. You can find it on Director Krennic, and you can also find it on Count Dooku. And that rule says that when 2 players play the same pip card, if the player issuing the order for the character has Cunning, that will automatically trump the tie and no dice roll is required. Now, this doesn't apply just to Krennic's cards, but any orders Krennic issues during that turn. So we'll cover that a little bit more in depth later. There's also one more exception to this, and that is going to be Han Solo's 0-pip card. So with Krennic playing Voracious Ambition, normally no one would be able to beat him with a tie on a 1-pip card, except for maybe Count Dooku. But in this case, Han Solo plays his 0-pip card, giving him priority for the turn. Let's go through 4 examples on how the command phase is going to work. For this scenario, I'm running an Imperial Force. I have 2 commanders. One is Director Krennic, then I have a generic Imperial officer here on the left. Then I have a unit of Death Troopers, a unit of Speeder Bikes, Boba Fett, an E-Web Emplacement Trooper, a unit of Shore Troopers, a Mortar, and the AT-ST. So in the first turn, I elect to deploy the Garrison, which is a 2-pip card. Since it has Krennic's face in the upper right-hand corner, that means only Director Krennic can issue orders this turn, not my Imperial officer. It also means with Cunning, I would beat any opponent that also played a 2-pip card, unless of course they're running Count Dooku. Now the card tells me to give order tokens to 2 troopers. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and give an order token to the Shore Troopers back here, and that's going to allow them to coordinate with an emplacement trooper within 1 of their current location, measured closest mini to closest mini. Now I have 2 emplacement troopers on the board, one of which is the E-Web here, the other which is the Mortar. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and issue an order to the E-Web. Lastly, because Krennic has Entourage, he is able to give a free order token to the Death Troopers as long as they're within range 1 to 2. Now it's worth pointing out that the normal command range is 3, which is quite big and takes up a large part of the board, but you could upgrade a commander with commanding precedence to make it a total of 4. So at the start of the activation phase, I would be able to choose 2 friendly trooper units that have a face-up order token, and they would get a free standby token. In this case, even though they weren't ordered by Cunning, they were given a order through Entourage. I'm going to put one on the Death Troopers, who have a face-up order token, and I can also place one on the Emplacement Trooper, since he is also not only emplacement, but also has the Trooper keyword. Now in the case of the Death Troopers, they have Ready One, which gives them an additional aim token, making this card play especially effective with them. Now in turn 2, I played the 2-pip card Pin Down. This is a generic card with no one's picture in the upper right hand corner, which means I can select either Cunning or my Imperial Officer to be the nominated commander. In this case, I'm going to choose my Imperial Officer. Now obviously if my opponent played a 2-pip card as well, I would probably choose Cunning, who would then, with the use of Cunning, allow me to go first. But let's say my opponent played a 1, 3, or 4-pip card, so this doesn't really matter. In this case, I must give orders to 2 support or heavy units. That's going to limit me to either these bikes, the E-Web, or the ATST, none of the regular troops. So my Imperial Commander is going to go ahead and issue an order to my bikes here, and then she's going to order this ATST. In addition, even though he's not my nominated commander, Cunning still has the ability to provide 1 free order token using the Entourage 1 keyword. And that would finish up my orders phase for this round. In turn 3, I choose to play Annihilation Looms, which is a 3-pip card. It must be Cunning who issues this order, because it has his picture in the upper right hand corner. And it says I can issue orders to Director Orson Cunning, that's a must. And 2 units. In this case, I can choose trooper units, in which case my shore troopers can coordinate onto my mortar back here, or my E-Web trooper, it's my choice. And I can also give it to a vehicle, so in this case we're going to give it to the ATST. Now as per usual, Cunning has the Entourage rule, which will allow him to go back to the Death Troopers. Then at the end of that, every trooper unit on the board gains 1 additional suppression. So it's going to go here, 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 and here. And in this case, my Death Troopers have a special rule called Disciplined 1, which says when they're issued an order token, like they were just issued, they can remove 1 suppression. It doesn't necessarily have to be suppression they just got, but in this case, it works just fine. Commanders aren't the only units in Star Wars Legion that can give out order tokens or play command cards. In this case, I'm going to use Boba Fett's Z6 Jetpack Rocket. Now that tells me to issue an order to Boba Fett, and then also use Cunning's Entourage 1 ability to give an order to my Death Troopers. Now operatives, generally speaking, can give orders just like commanders. So in this case, Boba Fett, he only issues orders to himself, but Sabine Wren can give orders to other units in addition to herself. So you'll have to read the card text carefully and see exactly where you're going to be able to place those order tokens. So that is the command phase in a nutshell. If you have any questions or you see something that I did not cover for the command phase, please post in the comments below. Also, please give us a like and a subscribe if you already haven't done that. So we look forward to bringing a lot more videos like this to you in the future. And I have a long list of ideas on what we're going to do. So if you've submitted an idea, rest assured it's on the list and we're going to get to it. Otherwise, hit me up in the comments below and let me know what other areas you'd like me to cover. So until next time, bye-bye.